Welcome. This is the continuing HVS Executive Search CEO interview series. My name is Bill Kahn. I'm Executive Vice President and Managing Director of HVS Executive Search for the Americas. And I am with a very special guest, an old friend, Mike Muldoon, who's the CEO of City Barbeque.
Bill, great to see you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So tell us, what inspired the creation of City Barbeque, and how has that vision evolved, since it started?
Sure. No, it's a great story. We actually celebrate our 25th anniversary this month.
Wow.
So we've been doing this for 25 years now, and it all started back in Upper Arlington, Ohio. Rick and Bonnie Mailer, our founders, still. Rick is our executive chairman of the board. But Rick and Bonnie started it, like I said, up in Arlington 25 years ago. And Rick was in corporate sales for years, did very well. His wife, Bonnie, was a pharmaceutical sales rep. And so Rick was selling tractors, grew up as a farmer, so that was his passion. It was easy for him. And got a call one day, offered a promotion, but it required a relocation. And he had learned that he loved Columbus, Ohio, and he had already taken several promotions, so he decided that day that he was going to be done working for corporate America. Went home, talked to his wife, Bonnie, said, I want to open a barbecue concept. And barbecue had always been a hobby of his.
Wow.
Right? So he said, hey, Bonnie, I want to open a barbecue concept. She said, let's do it. Wow. And like I said, fast forward today, we're 75 joints in 10 states and just getting started.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Great story. Great story. So what sets City Barbeque apart from your competitors?
I think there's a lot of great brands out there, right? And obviously I'm biased. It'll be 6 years for me in January with City Barbeque. I love what I do. But I really think the two things, Bill, I've been in the restaurant industry my entire life, worked for some very reputable brands, some very strong brands. But I think what really sets us apart is our people and our product. It really is. And I'll talk about the people first.
Sure.
We have really for years been a leader in the industry in retention, whether you're talking about hourly teammates, whether you're talking about managers. So it's been a great culture. I'm very fortunate to be a part of this. It was a great company when I joined 6 years ago. I hope I've made it a little bit better, but I walked into a great thing. So, it's incredible when you look at the teams in our joints. We're right at about 3,000 team members today. And as I said, we're in 75 joints, but we, talking about the product, we smoke all of our meats in-house every day. So you'll sometimes hear us talk about we're smoking meats, or the smokers are on for 24 hours, 7 days a week. No exaggeration at all. We are open 362 days a year, but the smokers never shut off. It's not just about the meats, but it's also the size of the desserts. We make them in-house in every joint. No commissaries, no central kitchens.
All fresh.
All of our joints are company owned. We've thought about franchising at times, but the culture and protecting that is so important.
Sure.
And who knows, at some point in the future, we may do it.
Right.
But I think it's really the people and the product that makes a difference at City Barbeque.
Great. How about any recent innovations, any changes in the menu, service model that have been particularly successful?
We'll always be a barbecue joint. That's who we are, right? We're always going to stay true to that. We'll never deviate. One thing that we talk about in barbecue a lot is having competition quality product. And I don't know if you know it or not, but if you go to a barbecue competition, the best you can score is a 9. It's the highest score available.
There we go.
So it's important for us that everything we do is a 9. Whether it be the brisket or banana pudding, it's got to be a 9. If it's not, we're not going to serve it. But over the last couple of years, we have evolved the menu. We're never going to try to be all things to all people. You're not going to come into a City Barbeque and find a hamburger or find some type of a pasta.
Right.
But we will work within the realm of barbecue. And we get a lot of those ideas from our guests. And so we recently, this year, added a shareable section. We added a salads section, expanded our sandwich offering, all of which has been received very well by the guest. If you look at our shareables, as I said, we'll always stay true. Our top 2 sellers there are smoked wings and our brisket nachos, just fantastic. We've seen some people trade off from what they might have been coming in for a brisket sandwich. They want to try the brisket nachos now.
Sure.
But it's also been an opportunity for us to add incremental sales, because if you and I are going in for lunch one day, we might order one of those as a shareable. It's a true appetizer, right? Before we have our entree. And then also our smokehouse Cobb salad has been a great add. and the sandwiches have been a great add as well. And if you look at the technology side, we've made some significant investments. There's been, for years now, there's been a shift in the restaurant industry of off-premise ordering, right? That was even pre-pandemic.
Sure.
The pandemic certainly accelerated that. Happened overnight. You're 100% off-premise, right? So you had to react quickly. But we've made a lot of investments in technology. About half of our sales come through a digital platform. So we've invested in a new website, new app, and that's a constant, right? We've got a third-party company that helps us. They're always working on that to remove as much friction as we can. And then even inside the joints, made investments into digital menu boards so we can move quicker on any new menu items that we have. We can better advertise our promotions, campaigns. And then also one thing that's really taken off the last couple of years is our curbside to go business. So we invested in some flyby technology that allows us, as a consumer, if you want to come get your food curbside to go, you order it on the app, the website, you pay for it ahead of time. We can see you coming down the street. We know where you're at in the parking lot. We get a notice inside the joint that you're here, so we can run our food out to you.
Right to the car.
Average wait time less than a minute. So those are just a couple of examples of the investments that we've made and will continue to make.
Yeah, no, that's great. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced recently, and really how'd you address them?
I think like everybody, call it during the pandemic, post-pandemic, and then into a very high inflationary environment.
Right.
We were not immune to a lot of those challenges.
Sure.
We were fortunate. There were a lot of companies out there that ran into a lot of staffing challenges during that period. We really avoided that for the most part, and I think it speaks to the leadership that we have in the joints and our field support teams on their leadership and their training. But it was great to see that our people wanted to stick around. They wanted to come to work every day. So we were very fortunate on that front. Commodities certainly took a spike there for a couple of years.
Sure.
So we had to get creative with that. We didn't pull anything off the menu. We did take a little bit of price, but we were very, very careful with that. We didn't want to price ourselves too high. We didn't want to lose that frequency or, just get that sticker shock with the consumer.
Yeah.
We didn't reduce any portions, but what we did with LTOs is we put different items on the menu to give our guests other options at a lower price point. So we could hold price on the existing menu, but bring in some other offerings that provided them a lower price point, but still gave us a good margin. We're fortunate that we've always had access to capital, and I think it speaks to the partnership between Freeman Spogli, our private equity partner, our own accounting and finance team, and of course our ops team to make sure that we're delivering a great return on the investment.
Yeah.
So, but look, we feel very good about where we are today and about the several years to come.
Great. How does City Barbecue gather and incorporate customer feedback into everyday business practices?
Yeah, obviously so important. Things are changing so fast in the industry, right? A lot of ways for us to go about that. First of all, you get a lot of feedback on social media. Some of it great, some of it not so great.
Not as good, sure.
So we're always monitoring the social media front. We respond to every response that we see out there, whether it be an opportunity for us or whether it be a compliment. We respond to everybody. And then we also have surveys that every guest, whether you dine in, drive through, however you experience City Barbecue, there's an opportunity for you to complete a survey on how we did.
Right.
We actually gather that information every week, and we push it out to all the stakeholders on every Wednesday. And we organize it by opportunity, whether it be a menu opportunity, a service opportunity, price, or maybe technology. So we capture it that way, pay close attention to that. But it's also, what we love to do is to do guest intercepts in the joints. Sometimes we hire a third party to do that. Sometimes we'll do it ourselves. And we're very fortunate. If you look at the size of City Barbecue at just 75 joints, I guess it's it's a good fortune of being around for 25 years. We have hundreds of thousands of members or loyalty members in our City Rewards program. And we reach out to them often with surveys. And we can send a survey out, whether it be around a branding decision, maybe it's around creative for a marketing program or a menu item we're thinking about. We can push out a survey to them, and we literally have thousands of responses in a matter of hours.
Wow.
And they're the ones who know us best, right? They're the most frequent guests.
Yeah, loyal.
They want to succeed with us. So we love to partner with them. And we also do focus groups. Anytime we're rolling out a new menu item, LTOs, we'll do this in Columbus, Ohio, in our culinary center. We'll actually send out an invite, for the first, whether it be 20, 30 respondents, inviting them into our support center and we'll do a tasting with them to get their feedback on new menu items. So we get, our most loyal guests, we get their feedback on a lot of these items before products ever get to test.
Yeah, that's great.
And then look, one of my favorite ways of getting the feedback is just being in the joints.
Yeah.
Talking to the team members. They always know how the guests feel.
Right.
And also talking to the guests directly.
Yeah.
But there's so many ways to get just great information. And of course, just staying close to the industry, what's going on at the macro level, right, with consumer behavior and things like that.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Excellent. What steps is City Barbecue taking towards sustainability and environmental responsibility?
Well, it's a constant, it's a work in progress all the time. Right?
Yeah.
I think we've made some good headway there. And we really kind of organize that by department. If you take a look at our construction and development team, whether we're remodeling or upgrading an existing facility or we're building a new joint, 75 joints and continuing to grow, a lot of opportunity to have a positive impact from an environment perspective, right? So one of the things that we did a few years ago is we brought in a third party to really take a look at how we were building joints, what we were doing with our facility upgrades. And it was a great outcome. They came in, they basically disassembled the City Barbecue, took a look at every material, every piece of equipment, everything that we were using, and reconstructed it. And we tried to do it more efficiently. And the outcome of that was we were able to build a smaller joint by about 400 square feet, which that means less materials, less cost, right? Less waste.
Yeah,
and we were able to do it with the same number of seats. So we reduced our costs, we reduced the amount of materials we were using, and we didn't put at risk the amount of volume that we could do out of a new joint, which has been great.
Yeah.
So they've done a great job there. And also one of the opportunities that came out of that was just making sure we're using, Energy Star rated equipment,
Right.
RTUs, the water heaters, high efficient fryers, a lot of opportunities there. And then our culinary team obviously works very closely with them. We don't get any new piece of equipment approved without our culinary team signing off on it. And they also do a great job of really trying to reduce the number of SKUs that we're bringing into our joints. Because it's easy when you start bringing in new menu items, you start bringing in all these new things. And one thing we all know is that when you bring more into the joint, you end up wasting more.
Exactly.
Right? So it's whatever you can do to keep that order guide short, the better off you're going to be. And then finally on the supply chain front, just as another example, done a great job really holding our vendors accountable and partnering with them. Anytime we put out an RFP, that comes with a sustainability survey. We get those results, and before we make decisions on a contract renewal or signing a contract with a new vendor, that's very much a part of our decision-making process. And I think one of the things that our director of supply chain did was just really had a huge impact is we used to trim brisket. I don't know how familiar you are, Bill, or how many briskets you've trimmed in your life. But
not that many.
There can be a lot of fat on the brisket, right?
Yeah.
We used to do all of that in-house, and we now have that done by one of our vendors. It's what they do. So the brisket that comes into our joints is already trimmed to our spec. We still smoke it on site. We still, we put all the rub on. It comes in raw. We prepare it completely inside the joint. But what that's done is if you take a look at today's volume, the amount of brisket we sell on an annual basis, there would have been roughly 1 million pounds of fat going into the trash can every year, right? Tremendous waste.
Yeah.
And now by using this third-party vendor, costs us a little bit more money, but that product is now rendered by them, sold to other customers that they have, or they're putting it in other products. So those are just a couple of the things that we've done. And as I said, you're never done, right?
Yeah,
There's
of course.
just always an opportunity to get better.
Always get better, sure.
And look, I think it's not just about being responsible. It just makes good business sense.
Good business sense, yeah, sure. Right, you can certainly do both.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So what's been some of the most rewarding aspects of leading City Barbecue?
I think I mentioned earlier that this was a good company when I joined 6 years ago. So I was very fortunate that this was not a turnaround situation.
Wasn't broken.
As much as I'd love to say I fixed it, it was a great company when I joined. But I would say what I really enjoy most is the people that I work with. I've been in the restaurant business my entire life. I came up through the operations side of the business, so the relationships that you form. It's amazing to me the difference one person can make in a business, and I don't care what role it is, whether it's a cashier in the joint or somebody in the training department at the sports center, right? The difference one person can make in an organization is just so impressive. But it's just the people and their commitment to our purpose of serving and creating happiness. I always tell people in the support center, if they're having a bad day, a bad week, just go spend a day in the joints. Talk to our guests, talk to our team members, just see all the good stuff that's
going on out there.
day,
Yeah,
and it completely gets you in the right mindset.
Changes your frame of mind. Sure.
I'm truly blessed to be a part of this culture. I absolutely love it, and plus I get to wear jeans to work every single day.
There you go.
So, didn't know that at the time, but
right. Times have changed.
It's a good outcome.
Yeah. Excellent. Any mentors or leaders, who've had an influence on your approach to running the company?
I mean, look, you and I have known each other so long. You know a lot of these ladies and gentlemen, right?
Probably.
I'm very fortunate, Bill, that I've had the opportunity to work with some great mentors. Going back early on the operations side, worked with a gentleman at Steak and Ale. So that tells you how far back that goes, right? Great concept at the time, but had a regional vice president, Steve Martin, taught me so much on operations. Gary Grimes at Don Pablo's. We worked together for years.
Sure.
Howard Homan, he and I worked together at RMH.
RMH, yep.
And then when I think about the people development side, Alicia Nichols at Don Pablo's, Ronnie Berry, who and I still work with today. He and I have worked together at a couple different companies, have had a really positive impact. And then, people who really got me ready to succeed as a CEO, Rob Andriatola from Avato Brands.
Sure.
Jeff Newman, who was the founder and CEO at RMH, and today, Rick Mailer, just that entrepreneurial mindset that he brings, and just the collaboration that we have. I've been surrounded by it. So such an important part of career development.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I'm very fortunate. A lot of great mentors.
Fabulous. So I know you said you've been in the restaurant industry for a long time. How did you get started in the restaurant industry? Was your family in the restaurant industry?
No, not at all. Completely unintentional.
Yeah.
I started I think from probably the age I was 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to be a Michigan State Trooper. That's all I wanted to do.
That was it.
I went to Eastern Michigan University, studied criminal justice, and my junior year I went to work for a restaurant there called Cottage Inn Cafe up in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Had no intention whatsoever of getting into the business. I graduated from college, was going through the interview process with the Michigan State Police. Very lengthy process.
Yeah.
It could take 6 to 9 months. And after I graduated, the owners of Cottage Inn Cafe asked me if I wanted to be the GM. And I thought, hey, why not? I love what I'm doing. I'll make a little bit more. I thought it was a lot of money at the time.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And it was at the time.
Right.
But I took that position and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I've never looked back. Absolutely love it. Yeah, so it wasn't intentional at the time, but I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
Yeah.
Absolutely love the business.
Yeah. Fabulous. Tell me, what are some of your passions outside of besides running City Barbecue?
Yeah, so it's I've got balance. That's one thing I talk to our team all about is you've got to have balance in the roles in life, right?
Sure.
And I'm fortunate that I've got that. My wife Charity and I have been married for going on 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got 2 boys, Michael and Declan, 17 and 18. So that is my time when I'm not doing my City Barbecue thing, right? We love to golf together, play the pickleball, tennis, that's kind of it. Well, we like to catch a lot of football games, baseball games. But we spend a lot of time together outside of work. Very fortunate with that.
Yeah, excellent.
Try to be a good golfer. I'm still it's one of my goals. Haven't achieved it yet.
It's a process.
That's right.
It is a learning process.
I know it's coming close.
Yeah. Any upcoming markets or regions that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, actually quite a few, to be honest with you. As I said, we started 25 years ago in Columbus, Ohio. I think if you talk to Rick about what he was thinking then, he would probably have told you that, look, he didn't see it slowing down. He didn't intend to have just one location.
Right.
But I think he didn't see it becoming what it is today at 75 and 10 states. So we love talking about what the future looks like, So we just continue to grow into contiguous markets. One thing we think we need to be responsible with our growth. It's really about quality of sites, not quantity.
Sites. Yep.
And we're excited. This year we opened our first South Carolina joint in Greenville. We opened our first Florida location in Winter Park.
Oh, good.
Both joints have done very well.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, really excited to see. One question that always comes up in barbecue is, do you think barbecue can travel? And it absolutely does.
Yeah.
We've taken a Midwest-based Ohio-based barbecue concept and have been received extremely well in the Carolinas and in Georgia.
Yep.
So very happy to see that. So we'll continue to build out the markets we're in.
Yep.
We don't need to jump too far from home, but we're excited. Next year we'll open our first joint in Alabama and also in Tennessee, and then just kind of fill in those markets.
Yep.
And we'll continue to grow into new states.
Yep.
When the time is right.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what qualities do you look for in leaders for City Barbecue?
Somebody I want to work with. It's I think when you're looking to bring on new talent, the technical aspects of the job, of course, you got to make sure that's all there.
Right.
I mentioned earlier, though, the difference one person can make in an organization. There's so many examples of that. And there's so many examples of times where we've had people in roles where technically they knew the job, but culturally they weren't a fit.
Just weren't a fit.
That's it. And as I said, I hope I've made City Barbecue a little better place to work. One of our guiding principles is continuous improvement, just improving a little bit every day. So it's bringing somebody in who's not going to change our culture, but make it better, make it stronger, and embrace our people. Because we know that's we really take an inside-out approach to growing our business. And when I think about growing revenue, we can't do it if we're not operating well within the four walls. From a support perspective, if we're not supporting them. So really having people who want to win, they care about winning, and they care about their colleagues winning, and they're going to be there for their colleague day in and day out. So that culture piece is so important to us.
Critical. Yeah. All right. Any advice you would give to aspiring leaders in the restaurant industry?
Yeah, I think what's made City Barbecue successful, I mentioned people and product. And sometimes we can really confuse this business, and we can make it a lot harder than it has
that it needs to be.
And I think if you break it down to those two simple things, number one, you got to have a product that people want, right? It's got to be craveable. They got to want to come back for it. But boy, the people, you got to put the people first. If you have the product, if you put the people first before all else, you can't help but succeed.
Be successful.
Yeah. And keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, excellent. Appreciate the time.
Bill, always good to talk to you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Let's grab some barbecue.
Let's do it.